Welcome back to another episode of Jibber Jab Reviews, your best source for product reviews and how-to videos. In today's episode, I review and test the Plasti-Dip spray-on rubber coating on my car's logo and model badges. I'll show you how I did it, how much time it took from prep to finish, and where you can purchase it if you want to try it out as well. Okay, let's go start the review. Okay, now before we start, I want to let you know that for this small project, I only needed to use about half the can or less of the Plasti-Dip and glossifier. I opted for the black matte color as I thought it would add a sporty look to the car and contrast nicely against the car's blue paint. Now you can get the Plasti-Dip pretty much in any color as well, but for this example I'm going to be using black, and the glossifier is added at the end, and as you can guess, it's for making the final result look shiny or glossy. So the very first thing you're going to want to do is wash the area well before you start. That's going to ensure that you remove any dirt, grease, or oil that may be on your paint, and of course that's going to affect the Plasti-Dip application. Once washed, also ensure it's completely dry, as the rubber coating is not going to adhere to any wet surfaces either. Okay, now using painter's masking tape, prepare the area you want to paint and leave at least 1 inch all the way around the area you want to cover, as that's going to make it easier to grab and pull off the coating later. For added protection of any overspray, I then added some newspaper. Again, it's up to you if you want to go this route. I was working inside the garage and I didn't have that much room, so I wanted to ensure I was protecting the car and anything else from overspray. Okay, now the first coating should be very light and applied at a distance between 15 and 30 centimeters, and that's going to reduce the chances of any runs or drips. The key point here is to keep moving the can and do not stop in one place. You're going to need to do a couple coats anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect or have complete coverage in the first application. Now once you've done a few passes, leave it to sit a minimum of 30 minutes or more before applying a second coat. The second coat should be applied as the same as the previous. In other words, keep the can moving and start to go over any areas that were not covered in the first coating. Again, it doesn't need to be perfect, but you should have about 80% of the area covered by the end of your second coat. Okay, by the third coat, everything should now be covered. If it isn't for any reason, then you can always do a very light fourth coat, more to touch up any areas you may have missed, but again, this may not even be necessary, depending on the level of coverage you got after the third coat. Okay, once the third coat is completely dried, you can add a coat of the glossifier. Now I just want to mention this is an optional coating and only required if you want to add some shine, so it's really up to your personal preference. Now you can also add multiple coats until you get the desired shine that you want. I just added one coat as I only wanted a little bit of shine and I just wanted to enhance the matte look without it being overly shiny. One final note, the glossifier comes out in an almost mist-like spray, so very different from the regular matte spray. As such, you don't need to move your arm back and forth quite as much. Okay, the final step was peeling off the coating, and I opted to use a toothpick to remove the coating in the hard-to-reach places, particularly around the numbers and letters. I also dulled the point of the toothpick a bit before starting, and that's going to help reduce any chance of you scratching your paint. As long as you go slow, take your time and are gentle, then there shouldn't be any problems. If you apply too much force or rush it, then of course you're going to risk the chance of either messing up the job or possibly scratching your surface. Okay, now on to the pros and cons of this product. Well, the main pro for this has got to be its versatility. You can pretty much use it on any surface and it shouldn't crack or chip. You can also use it to insulate items such as frayed wires, or to reduce vibrations, or even to deaden sound. You can also use it to add a grip to something, such as tools, and it's said to be very durable and resist the effects of weather, chemicals, impacts, and abrasions. Although, living in Canada, I'm going to be very interested to see how this holds up when winter comes along again. And the last pro has got to be the color choices. There's literally dozens and dozens of different colors as well as finishes, from matte to metallic, to choose from. So in other words, there's going to be something for everyone. Okay, now in terms of cons, I really don't have many to list, at least for right now. I will say that it does take a bit of practice getting used to applying just the right amount of spray without causing any drips or runs though. And it does take a bit of time, and I would throw in patience as well. You really don't want to rush it, so make sure you leave lots of time for the project. Finally, cost may be an issue. I've seen cost per can in the range of $10 to $20. I happened to pick up mine online and I think I paid about $10 per can. This certainly is not a huge expense, but depending on the size of your project, you will need to factor in multiple cans, so this is something to keep in mind. Okay guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to share this video. I also love to get feedback from all of you, so please keep the comments coming. In the next part of this project, I'm going to be coating the rims, so stay tuned as I'll be releasing the next video shortly. Until then, take care.